So finally, Philips introduced a dedicated head shaver known as the Philips Head Shaver Pro. Now I kind of knew if Philips did introduce a dedicated head shaver that it's going to compete or possibly surpass the dedicated head shavers that I've used and reviewed in the past. One of the reasons I wanted Philips to create a dedicated head shaver is because I know they're a reliable company with their returns policy, and I know from emails and comments in the YouTube section and emails to my website that many guys have had issues with returns and replacements with other companies, bar the company Remington. So these bigger brands tend to have a better returns policy or adhering to them without having to pay for returns. So that's one of the reasons why I was hoping that Philips would produce one. Plus they're the top rotary shaver company worldwide, so I was looking forward to seeing what they would produce. Anyways, in this video I'm going to do my usual. I'm going to run through the pros and the cons of the features and design of how I view it and how I've experienced it. I'm also going to do a head shave. So I've head shaved this a good few times before. I'm going to do a demo head shave so you guys can see how it performs. Then I'll give you guys some feedback and maybe give some small comparisons with other head shavers like the school shave. I won't go into too much detail with comparisons, just a bit about a few of the features. Models and costs. Philips introduced 3 models: the 5000 series, 7000 series and 9000 series. They are fundamentally the same shaver. It's the same shaver, the only difference is the accessories it comes with. So the 5000 series only comes with a soft pouch that you put the shaver in. The 7000 series comes with also a hard case, really nice case. It's a nice sturdy case that fits the shaver inside. Plus I think that's about it for the 7000 series. Then the 9000 series, the one that I purchased, this one here, it's got Norelco on it because I bought it from the US rather than the UK. That one comes also with a cleaning pod, or it's like a plastic tub that we can sit the shaver in, sit it in and let it rinse, a rinsing stand. It also comes with an extra pack of a set of cutters. That's the 9000 series. So the cost of them, at the moment, the cost for the 5000 series is around about $80 US. We'll stick to US prices. The 5000 $80, the 7000 $100, and the 9000 about $140. Now the cost of the replacement cutters, these 4 cutters, the cost of those are around about $35 US. So you kind of can work it out that you're not really saving much by buying the 9000 series and getting the extra cutters, but you know, somebody might like to get the extra cutters when they order one. However, if you've never used a dedicated head shave before, or it's your first time using the Philips, you may not be happy with it, you know, and then you pay for the higher model and got extra blades that you're not going to use. So that's up to you. That's up to you guys, which one you think is best. But the 5000 series, a standard model, that's probably the one to go for a lot of people. And if you need a nice sturdy travel case, somewhere to store it in, then you can step up to the 7000 series. Features and design. I was a little underwhelmed when I first got it at the back box. I don't know what I was expecting. I think because it's Philips, I was expecting to go, oh wow, as soon as I opened the box. And I wasn't really. I thought, oh yeah, it doesn't look that's kind of snazzy. You know, the head shavers like the Grooming Baldy Pro, the Brio Rays, the Manscaped Dome Pro. When I got out of the box, I thought, oh wow, this is probably going to be a great shaver. However, they're shavers that did not perform very well, so you know, first appearances might not last. While the design of it is made for it to be held in the hand, in the palm of the hand, you know, it fits in there nicely. It's a little bit more bulkier than what some other dedicated head shavers are that I've used. Thinking of shavers like the Remingtons, the 2 Remingtons that they have. Also the Freebird Flex series, it has a smaller body, so it kind of fits into the palm better than what this will. But that's not to say it doesn't fit into the palm, because as you can see it does. It just doesn't have a bit of the smaller, snugger fit. And for myself and probably other guys, if you use other dedicated head shavers that are a little bit smaller, at first it might feel bulky, but I noticed after a couple of shaves or so that I did not notice that. You know, it was a non-issue. If we look at the Skull Shaver Pitbull Gold, it's quite similar in height. You know, these are quite high. There's quite a lot of height on these shavers, and one of those reasons is, as we know, the school shaver has the design where we can cup our fingers in between the blades, and it gives us it's very ergonomically friendly, so that makes it, you know, that naturally makes it taller. That's the case with the Phillips as well. Interestingly enough, we can also cup our fingers in between the head and the blade head, the blade head and the body of this shaver. We can cup our fingers in it, and it's great for shaving around the back of the head. But I believe this is what makes it a bit taller and not quite as compact as some of the other head shavers. Now, it's interesting that Phillips have got this design, this cupping design, because School Shaver have a patent on that design. I thought, well, how can they do that? Phillips have obviously found a way around it. They've got enough money and they're smart enough. And I think Phillips have found a way around it, because with the School Shaver, if we look in the head section, when we slip our fingers in between, there's like two parts where our fingers slip in there nicely. But Phillips hasn't made anything between the head and the body design that is like the School Shaver, so I guess that's why they kind of can get away with it. But that, amongst other things, makes it really compete with School Shavers. But I do think for some guys, just keep that in mind of the height of this shaver, because I know for some guys that I've had comments from and emails that they do prefer like a shorter design, where I mean, here's the Freebird Flex Series Pro. This is a bit shorter. You know, that's quite a bit shorter, so it kind of holds in the palm and you get it closer to your head. Yeah, for some people that'll matter. The head on these flexes in all directions, so this can be quite useful for moving along various contours and keeping it close to the scalp while we're shaving. But that might be only slightly useful, which I'll show in a demo shave, and you'll get to see what I mean when I'm head shaving with it. It has 4 rotary blades. Now these rotary blades, the heads of them all flex in. They don't flex independently. If we press the head, put any pressure on the head, they will all flex inwards together. Also, these individual blades, they also flex. So these add to additional comfort and allow the blades, the cutters, to maintain contact with the scalp and the skin. The top section has a kind of matte finish with some lines on it, so that's kind of to provide some grip. However, I kind of would like to see this to be rubberized. I think that would be a bit better rubberized, but it does provide some grip. Just like the School Shavers and the Freebird Flex Series Pro, it has a collection chamber in the head. So if we pop the top cap off, then within the top section there's a collection chamber that collects all debris and hair, rather than it all going on our shirt or being too caught up in the cutters. I like that feature. We get around about 90 minutes runtime, which is kind of the higher end of any of the head shavers. 90 minutes, that's pretty good. And the LED indicators are quite simple. They're kind of, you get like 3 dots on the front of it once it's powered. And you know, once that goes down to 1, then the power is low. We need to think about recharging it. We get a USB type of cord. It's not USB type C, but it's USB. We don't get an adapter with it, so we have to get our own adapter. And the connection section, the connector, it's a Phillips type, so it's not USB-C. Like other electric head shavers, it's waterproof and we can use it shaving wet or dry. I have used it shaving wet with traditional shaving cream whipped up into a lather, and yeah, it was okay. I mean, I didn't find much extra benefit. However, for guys who like to wet shave, you know, the option is there, and it'll give you a good wet shave. Now, keep in mind that dedicated head shavers do have faults at times. I've seen many comments and many emails about people having faults and problems with dedicated head shavers. That is a risk that comes with them. One of the benefits of Phillips is, like I said at the beginning of this video, they're a company that you can depend on that will adhere to their warranty. Now, the warranty you get for this is around 2 years. But if you register it online as quick as possible, then you get up to 5 years. So if it breaks, we can't really complain, can we? Because we get a replacement for 5 years. We can't expect more than that, really. Cleaning is pretty straightforward, whether using the rinsing tub or manually cleaning it. And what I usually do is I pop the top cap off, give the insides a good blowout and a little bit of a brush out if you have a brush. I don't think we don't get a brush with this head shaver, but if you have a small brush, brush it out, blow it out. blowing out usually does the trick. Then what I usually do is put a couple of blobs of antibacterial soap on the head section for the blades, cutters. Then I pop it back on, and then if I'm using the rinsing stand, I'll always have some water in the rinsing stand, warm water, and just pop the shaver into the rinsing stand and switch it on for about 15 seconds or so. If I'm not using the rinsing stand, then what I would do is just I've put the blobs of antibacterial soap in, run a few drops of water on there, then let it run for 10 or 15 seconds or so, then give it a good rinse, and then just shake it off, then leave the blade cap off and the head for a good couple of hours or so for them to properly dry out. Now the head section on this, in the middle of it, it has a cog, so if we turn this cog, it will remove like a section that keeps all of the blades in place. We remove that, and each of these cutters can be taken out separately and cleaned thoroughly. That's worth doing once a month. I do that about once a month. Right, so more importantly, let's grab myself a mirror and get a head shave on. Okay, we're on about 3 days of growth here, so this is what we're starting with. I know it looks like I have very little on the top of my head, and I do have very little. It's just very fine hair. I still have to shave over there. This is one reason why I use a dedicated head shaver or head shave, is to get this looking a bit more slicker than this monk appearance. So here's around the back of the head too. So yeah, let's see how this removes what hair I have left there. And this is about the longest I would ever head shave at. It's kind of getting to the length now where I would use a trimmer like this Remington one to get rid of a little bit of hair, because I don't like to make these shavers work too hard. It's going to put strain on the motors if it's got a lot more hair to deal with, and the blades, the cutters, are not going to last as long. So I try to do it as short as possible. These are best used actually daily or every couple of days. And most of all, the most growth to have is around about 3 days. Anything over that, grab yourself a trimmer, trim it off first in a matter of seconds, a minute, and then get the head shaver out. Okay, let's fire it up. We can see that it maintains good skin contact and contact with the scalp throughout the shave. There's very little overlap. I mean, there, look, if I hold it at that angle there, even that blade there is still touching the scalp, which is really good. Now I'll also demonstrate this, where this movement, the head movement, is useful when we're holding it like this, because as I move it around, we'll see that the head section is actually moving. However, if I use it in the mode similar to the school shaver where I use the cupping design, I wouldn't need to use that feature then, which you'll see when I'm using it. So let's use it with a cupping design, show you that. See, like that, I wouldn't need any head movements at all. And the cupping design is great because it's brilliant for shaving the back of the head like that, very easy. Actually coming up the sides like that is very good with a design like this too. It's worth holding like this for doing around by my ears section. That's where hair can be a little bit stubborn. Holding it like that allows me to put a little bit more pressure on. It's nice to have the option of holding it like that, or the cupping design. Let's show you around the back of the head. I just mentioned it's nice and comfortable. Yeah, the blades are very comfortable on my scalp. Okay, I think we're kind of done. Let's have a feel around. Yeah, so I have not so much there, but I have a little bit of, you know, that kind of sandpaper feel that we get from a lot of these dedicated head shaves. I don't shave as close as a manual razor and quite often get a bit of a sandpaper feeling. I get it around here where I recede from, so I usually get it around there. However, there's very little on this side, and one thing I found, 'cause I've used this before, is it's closer than, it gives a closer shave than any of the other head shavers. Not perfectly like a manual razor, but better than the other ones, the other models. But I'll try and get it a bit closer by making the skin taut and then running the shaver over it. That's where I get the sandpaper feel, and it's more or less gone. It's more or less gone. Yeah, it's really good, very good. No, same on this side. I need to be able to get a bit more pressure there. Yes, the slight sandpapery feel. However, closer than the others that I've used and reviewed. Okay, so let's take a look at the finish. That's kind of as good as it gets, doesn't it, with a dedicated head shaver? Here's the back section. Oh, actually I can feel a little bit of stubble there. The sandpaper feel, let's go over that. Okay, that'll do. Okay, job done. Okay, we're head shave done. So we could see that I explained it was very comfortable, ergonomics very good when we're using it in the this type of school shaver cupping design, or holding it in our palm like that, and we get decent movement from the top section. And the head blade system keeps good contact with the skin and the scalp as we're moving along the various contours. So the bottom line for me is it's one of the best, or possibly the best head shaver that I've used. Very similar to the school shavers. The one benefit of this, as I said in the start of the video, is Philips is a reliable company that adheres to its return policies. Now, because these head shavers are prone to faults, that's a really important thing to have. But what I will be doing is some comparisons. So I will be doing a comparison with the school shaver, do a head-to-head comparison versus, and see which one comes off best. If you have any questions about this, or you've used it and you want to give some comments, then you know I'm always lively in the comment section, so you can drop a comment in the comment section below. Also, there'll be plenty of links in the description to the best head shavers, my roundup that I've used, of head shavers that I've used, and other links that I think they'll be useful to you guys. Well, that's about it, guys. If you haven't subscribed as yet, do hit the subscribe button. You get a notification when the next videos are live. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.